Oh, really?
I call it on the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10. First clap.
Let me try with pleasured hands.
Clap. I'm gonna get you now. I can hear you breathing.
You took your blindfold off. I win. I was in Christine and Nancy's room.
Girls, it's way past your bedtime. Who's ever down there? I'm gonna lock you in now. Ah! Help! Andrea! Help!
Right, it's 9:18. We're headed down into the cellar where the door's just opened on its own. Give us a sign that you want to communicate with us. Nothing.
What are you guys?
Well, we've been called ghost hunters, paranormal researchers.
But we prefer to be known simply as Ed and Lorraine Warren.
There's someone here that would like to talk to you.
There's something horrible happening in my house.
It's November 1st, 1971. I'm sitting here with Carolyn Perrin, who, with her family, has been experiencing supernatural occurrences. You picking up anything in here, hon?
Something awful happened here, Ed.
What is it? Whatever Lorraine sees, feels, touches, it takes a toll on her. A little piece each time.
You have a lot of spirits in here, but there's one that I'm most worried about because it is so hateful. Look what she made me do. We have to get out of here.
That's not gonna help.
This thing has latched itself to your family.
Father, we never seen nothing like this.
I'm coming with you.
No way. I can't lose you.
There's a lady in a dirty nightgown that I see in my dreams. She's standing in front of my mom's bed. Do you want to see him?
Yeah?
When the music stops, you see him in the mirror standing behind you.
Look what she made me do.
based on a true story. In 1971, the Perrin family moved into their dream home.
It's gonna be great.
But they didn't know it was the site of a brutal murder in 1863 and countless horrors in the century that followed. What happened to the parents in that house was so disturbing, the family has refused to speak of it. Until now.
First day, we fell in love with the house.
I get my own room.
The owner says, do you and your family a favor, Roger. He says, keep the lights on in this house at night. A couple of days later, it came back to me and I had an idea that something was wrong.
From day one, there was a heaviness and there was a scariness.
Things began to happen in the house.
We started to see multiple spirits in the house.
Nancy, it's standing right behind you.
Because I was the youngest and the most vulnerable, I was approached more than anyone, and I actually had a relationship with that boy.
I think something bad happened to him. Follow me this way.
I had gone to bed. I opened my eyes. The apparition started to come down to me.
Look what she made me do.
Nancy?
From the director of Saw and Insidious.
We waited 30 years to tell our story. Because 30 years ago, the world was not prepared for this.
On July 19th,
Oh, God!
experience the terrifying truth.
Who is that?
The Conjuring.
Look what she made me do.
The house was just full of people that lived there that were not us.
I was 11 years old when my mother found the farm. And we arrived in the middle of a snowstorm. We were just moving into a charming, lovely, old house, as far as all of us were concerned.
Nancy and I were sharing a room, Andrea had her room, and Cindy and April would share a room. And it was boom, boom, boom. It was pretty much everything was the same way, but it was going to move to this big new house with this really great big yard. Wham, wham! The bedroom door stopped flying open out of nowhere, out of absolute nowhere. Wham, bam, up against the sides of the walls, and it would be, everybody would be just in total shock, and we'd be, okay, who did that?
No one was thinking in terms of, oh, the house is haunted and it's freaking the animals out. None of us had even conceptualized the possibility of this, including my parents.
She hung herself in the barn.
There are things that happen in that house that I won't ever tell anybody. Nobody, not my family, not my sisters, not my parents, not my best friends, not anybody.
And then he started to talk about Bathsheba. She murdered that little baby. She drove a needle into its skull and killed it.
She loathed my mother. She lusted after my father, lusted.
I knew then that there was something. When you're standing there and somebody runs their hand against your back and you turn around and there's nothing there, you realize that there is something going on. And at that point, I started to put two and two together with the things that were happening to my wife.
My mother was never allowed to assume her rightful position as mistress of the house. That's the bottom line. We moved into that house as a mother, a father, and 5 children. And whatever the spirit was that taunted and haunted my mother so supremely over a decade was not willing to relinquish the position, essentially. What she did was treat my mother abominably. She loathed my mother. She lusted after my father. Lusted. I use that word deliberately.
Was mistress here before he came. And mistress here will be a nun, will drive you out with fiery brooms, will drive you mad with death and gloom. If you don't leave, you will join us, because she too will be dead.
There was some madness in that house, and it was a very penetrating force, and it was fighting to be the dominant force, and I think it was letting parents and children alike let it know that it wanted to be the dominating force, and I think we fought it tooth and nail for a long time, and then I guess we know who won, don't we? Because we know who left and who's still there.
Reflecting about it after it was over, I didn't feel that spirits were really capable of doing physical harm to you, but I was wrong about that. I was wrong about that. There was real danger there.